Welcome to Black House Tales. Let's begin our story. The five friends had always been drawn to the macabre. Horror movies, creepy stories, and tales of the occult were their favorite pastimes. So when they stumbled upon an old Ouija board in a thrift store, they couldn't resist buying it. They didn't take it seriously at first, treating it like a novelty item. But after a few glasses of wine, they decided to give it a try. They placed their fingers on the planchette and asked if anyone was there. The planchette moves, spelling out a message: "We are here." At first, they were thrilled. They asked the board questions about the afterlife, about ghosts and demons. But as the night wore on, the messages became darker. The board seemed to have a mind of its own, spelling out ominous warnings and threats. The friends laughed it off, thinking it was all just a game. But then they started to notice strange things happening around them. Objects would move on their own, doors would slam shut, and eerie whispers could be heard in the darkness. It wasn't long before they realized that they had summoned something dark and malevolent with the Ouija board. They had brought a group of shadow people into their world, and now they were being haunted by the dark entities. They tried to ignore the strange occurrences at first, but they soon realized that they were in serious danger. The shadow people were growing bolder, appearing in the corners of their vision, lurking in the darkness, and whispering taunting messages to them. They tried to get rid of the Ouija board, but it seemed to have a hold on them. They couldn't bear to part with it, as if it had become a part of them. As the days wore on, the shadow people grew more powerful. They started to take physical form, hovering over them like dark shadows. They would whisper in their ears, telling them terrible secrets and urging them to do unspeakable things. One by one, the friends began to disappear. They would vanish in the middle of the night, leaving no trace behind. The remaining friends knew that they were next, that the shadow people would not stop until they had claimed them all. They tried everything to banish the entities, from burning sage to reciting prayers. But nothing seemed to work. The shadow people were too powerful, too ancient, and too hungry for their souls. In the end, only one of the friends remained. She sat alone in her darkened apartment, clutching the Ouija board to her chest. The shadow people were all around her, whispering their dark secrets, urging her to join them. The last girl had fallen into a deep sleep, but she was soon awoken by a loud and haunting voice. She opened her eyes to see the shadow people standing around her bed, reaching out to her with their dark, twisted fingers. The girl could feel the fear rising within her, but there was also a strange curiosity, a desire to understand what was happening to her. One of the shadow people leaned closer to her and whispered, "Join us." The girl felt a chill run down her spine as she heard the words, but at the same time, she felt a strange compulsion to obey. Without hesitation, the girl grabbed the Ouija board and placed her fingers on the planchette. The board came alive beneath her touch, and the shadow people began to whisper in unison. The girl could feel the power of their dark energy flowing through her, and she knew that she was no longer alone. As the night wore on, the girl became more and more entwined with the shadow people. They spoke to her in a language she didn't understand, but somehow, she could still comprehend their message. They revealed to her the secrets of the universe, the mysteries of life and death, and the horrors that lay beyond. The girl was both terrified and exhilarated by what she was experiencing. She knew that she had unleashed something dark and powerful, but she was also intoxicated by the sheer thrill of it all. She had always been drawn to the macabre, and now she was finally living it. Days turned into weeks, and the girl became more and more consumed by the shadow people. She stopped going to work, stopped seeing her family and friends. All she wanted was to be with the shadow people, to feel their dark energy coursing through her veins. But as time passed, the girl began to realize the true cost of her obsession. The shadow people were draining her of her life force, feeding off her energy and her soul. She could feel herself growing weaker with each passing day, her body becoming gaunt and haggard. The girl knew that she had to break free from the shadow people, but she also knew that it was too late. They had claimed her soul, and now she was theirs forever. As she lay in her darkened apartment, surrounded by the shadow people, the friend felt a strange sense of peace wash over her. She had found what she had been searching for all along, and even though it had cost her everything, she knew that she would never regret it. And as the shadow people claimed her soul, the girl closed her eyes and surrendered to the darkness, knowing that she had finally found true horror, and that it had consumed her whole. I hope you enjoyed this story. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next one. Thanks for watching.